All right. So Louise, no, Louie,
Miss Morgan.
yes. Um, Hi, how are you doing? How do you think things are going with our new joint venture?
Um, as of right now, I know we are having some problems with the business. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay, sorry. All right, back to it. Miss Morgan. Yes, I understand the business right now isn't as efficient as we would like it to be. Um, I understand we have some problems that we should discuss and some ideas and advice and strategies to discuss during this meeting. But so far, I've enjoyed working for uh, the joint venture, and I'll look forward to discussing more in this meeting.
That sounds wonderful. This is my first time in Mexico. Where's a good place to go for dinner?
Um, Miss Morgan, I think the best place to go is definitely visit all our local shops down in the city, and you can find very traditional Mexican food, and I believe you would enjoy your time there, and you would learn a little bit more about the culture.
I do like Mexican food, so I'm looking forward to at least one meal out before I hop back on a plane and head home. So it's been 9 months, and you went from being uh, from working for Algorithm to being, part owner of a new company. That's a big change. Um, are you comfortable with how things are going? Are you comfortable? Do you need advice or help with managing employees? How do you feel about that kind of thing?
So I feel great about our company at this time. I know that we're having some economic currency problems, which is really affecting our business, making it harder on us. But I'm definitely willing to listen to advice, and any uh, advice you have, I'd be definitely willing to listen.
Okay, so I think there's definitely some places where we could make changes that would benefit you and keep the company afloat and benefit us further north as well. And there's a few things I want to talk to you about that we've identified as areas where we can find ways for improvement. And one of them is in the Guadalajara office. We have um, an expectation that 5 people would be budgeted. We had budgeted for 5 people, and we had an expectation that that would be sufficient labor for all of the work that they do. But we have 7 people there now, 2 people to cover absenteeism. Have you had a chance to look into that? It seems like a pretty high rate of absenteeism for work.
Yes. So, Miss Morgan, we learned that here in Mexico, it is very hard for families to get to point A to point B in an efficient amount of time. And sometimes during those times, they won't be able to make it due to travel expenses and just getting to work in general. Most families down here in Mexico do not own cars. So we hired on 2 extra people for absenteeism, and we feel like that is the most effective way currently. However, we believe that we also could fix this problem by maybe offering a travel expense for people to get to work and stuff like that, so that we can retain these workers and they would want to come to work every single day versus in their eyes, well, I don't have enough money to even get to work today, so I'm just not going to go. But I believe if we found a way to give like a bonus for attendance or some type of reimbursement for travel, I believe that would really help our company retain workers and have workers at work on time for a full day.
So, if would it, so in other words, buses run, but our employees can't afford to use them? Or is it that buses don't always run?
Buses don't always run here.
So then it wouldn't matter if we gave a bonus for attendance because they wouldn't be able to make it.
Well, I mean, like any country, you do have taxis that you can pay for people to come pick you up. However, in this instance, those taxis are too expensive. Obviously, bus fare is nearly free to be a part of, but buses don't always run, and they don't run at the times where our workers are needing to be at work or needing to go home.
I wonder if it would be easier if we had 7 part-time employees instead of 5 full-time employees.
Um,
And then people would be able to, say, maybe work 2 to 4 days a week. If we had it planned out, that might work. Does that sound plausible?
so uh, So you're asking for us to have 7 part-time employees rather than 7 full-time employees?
Well, I'm thinking it through. Yeah.
Okay, so we could look at, I believe we still need at least 5 full-time employees. However, if we could reach to be able to pay them like give them a transportation allowance, I believe we could uh make the other 2 workers, one either could uh tell them that we no longer need them to work for us and cut them out of it, and then that way our 5 full-time employees will make it to work every day. Or um I believe the main problem is our workers don't have enough money to get to work. So I believe we could work on something there, but I don't know if we could make all our employees part-time.
Okay. Um, well, if we can come up with some kind of a small bonus, I think that might work, and in that we would be reducing our payroll from 7 to 5, but I'm not sure how much that needs to be. Do you
Um,
have an idea of what kind of a travel incentive would be needed in Guadalajara?
Sorry, could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
What kind of travel incentive would our employees need to be
Um,
able to make it on a daily basis?
I believe maybe just like a weekly bonus to each paycheck at the end of the week to pay for their transportation to work. So maybe just a tiny bonus added on to each paycheck or something
Mm.
on that
I'm
nature.
not against that idea, but we are trying to cut costs. So let's keep that on the agenda and talk about it. I think if we can get our employees there with a small bonus once a week, but we can cut to salaries, we would still be leaving some cutting costs. It's still more than the originally budgeted cost, but I get that they don't live in a metropolis, with well-run metro system. Of course, I live in Cincinnati and we don't have a well-run metro system, so let's talk about some of the other areas where I think we can try to find some cost-cutting measures. One is in the office staff. Can you talk to me a little bit about, I know your brother works for you, and up north, they're really concerned about what exactly he's doing, and what he's bringing to the table. And the other concern is, I'm just going to take a minute and make sure I'm getting this right. The other concern is that you have a receptionist,
Yes.
and I wonder if you could cut the receptionist. I want to talk to you about those two positions.
Okay.
Can you give me a little more insight in that?
Yes. So my brother Jose, when we began this joint venture, he has seen how the operations work, and he decided that he would like to give up his job as a teacher and come bring his talents to the company. He also brought in his life savings to start this joint venture. And while I'm out of the office making sell leads and getting contacts, he's in the office basically doing the managing of the day-to-day office duties. And yeah, so that's his main job when I'm not in the office. He is responsible for managing it. However, for the receptionist, um, so our receptionist, she is great. She brings a great professionalism to our office space, and she makes it very easy to work with. And when we have customers coming in and visiting the office in location, she mainly takes care of our customers when they come in. So I believe she is a great addition to our company, and I believe she helps make successful deals.
So it sounds like your brother is doing your job.
Well, I'm outside of the office space working on sell leads and getting contacts for our company to start going after.
So are you more interested in being a salesperson in the job and a silent owner?
No. The only reason why I am currently out in the field getting these leads is because I believe I'm the best prepared for this position, prepared to go out into the field and get these jobs. But I also believe I'm the best at the office, and when I am there, I do majority of the managing, and I believe I'm good at both positions. That's why I kind of just throw myself everywhere.
Well, how does Jose do with sales?
So I do realize that he really hasn't had any great sales experience before now, but he has been learning a ton since he's joined on to the algorithm team. And so far I believe he is making good progress, but I also could see him going into a new role, maybe in some sort of management position, kind of like me, but obviously not me.
So I think that that's something you might want to keep on the back burner because sales are down. And so having two people that are managing a very small staff and a small business is is it's taking up a lot of your finances. One of the things that the algorithm company, the outgoing manager before me, and then my boss has suggested, strongly suggested, is that we think you need more sales staff. That's the one place where there's a real true need for spending more money. In fact, the numbers indicate that 3 additional salespeople would be a good option. I think it would be great if you, oh goodness, you have a dog, I have a cat.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep
For the
mine calm
picture,
right now.
trying to do a little selfie here. Um, Dog went downstairs, so he's being quiet. Sorry about that.
You're totally fine.
Oh, we're gonna have to break just for a minute. There's Marilyn. I think you need to consider moving your brother from management into a sales position and hiring 2 new people. That way, your brother, who has, stake in the game and wants to see this business thrive, can do that, but it's going to change his income structure, which is going to be a much better option for your company and its ability to survive. he doesn't have sales experience, so on paper, he doesn't look great. But I think if anybody knows him, it's going to be his brother. And if you think that he can do sales, I think you should really give him that opportunity to thrive.
I totally agree, and I believe I could definitely look into that and make changes around there, and hopefully it makes our business thrive even more.
Yeah. And I wonder, because I think perhaps you don't want to lose any of your employees, and I can understand you wouldn't want to lay people off. But I do think that you could live without a receptionist, because your salespeople are in the office or you're in the office, and it would save you on on payroll if you were able to get rid of your receptionist. But I wonder if she's so good with with people as they come and go, if she might be interested in being one of your sales um, employees.
I could totally see that. I would definitely be willing to look into that and see if she would be willing to uh, transfer job titles into a sales position, as she is very good with customer calls and even meeting with customers in person. She's very good at that, so I could definitely see that happen.
Well, I love that idea. That way she gets an opportunity to further her career, and you don't have to have a sit down meeting where you lay two people off, which
I,
is
I,
always.
I agree. Here in Mexico at Algorithm, we definitely believe our employees are family. That is the main priority down here, is that we're not just coworkers, we're actually family, and we want this business to grow together. And if I can save people from getting laid off, I would love to do that.
I think that sounds like a plan. And I fully agree with you on trying to do everything you can to not lay people off. Unfortunately, with a small company, sometimes you just have to look really closely at that bottom line. But I think it would be a wonderful idea to try to find a different fit for both of those employees, and that way they can stay in the family, right?
Yes.
Then I would strongly encourage you to also start looking for a third person.
S-
Um,
Sorry, go
yes.
ahead.
Well, our numbers indicate that three salespeople could really increase your numbers in terms of sales. But I think that I'm gonna kind of just slow down for just a second, because I think also that you have more trainers, people that are teaching your buyers how to use the um, the the information they're receiving, right? This data. And I wonder if you could have a look at your trainers and see if one of those people could also be a better salesperson.
Yes, and I would be more than willing to look into that, considering they already have a position here. Just a small transition to sales, as long as they feel comfortable that they could succeed in that role, and if they are okay with it, then yes, I would be more than willing to at least take one trainer away from that duty and put him onto the sales team so he can start helping the company elsewhere.
Well, this is turning out to be an incredibly um, productive meeting, and I
Um,
really appreciate that.
I would like to ask you, Miss Morgan, since we wouldn't really be bringing on more people, could we increase advertising and promotional dollars? I believe it would help drive our sales through the roof, and I believe that it would be a good addition to the company if we start increasing advertising.
Um, so I think that you're going to get with three new salespeople. I think you're going to, as long as they're out, kind of hitting the pavement, so to speak, that you're going to get more. Oh my goodness, Sebastian, I'm sorry, my Zoom thing is telling me that my meeting is going to end in 10 minutes. I set it for a a 1 hour meeting, So if it ends, I think I'm gonna need to just make a new one.
Okay.
I don't know what that's about. It's telling me I have to upgrade. But again, it's an NKU account. They're free. Like there's no
Yeah,
reason to upgrade them.
I'm not sure what is going on.
So if it ends, I will create another one and send it to you by email. And then we'll
Okay,
just pick up from there.
sounds
But
good.
I mean, I think it is gonna end. I think it's gonna cut me off at, I guess at 40 minutes. I
I'm
don't,
sure I'm sure it will. And then as long as you just send me an email with the next link, we can pick up from where we started. That's no problem at all. We'll just have to include 2 links and hope they both work.
oh my gosh. Zoom is turning out to be more of a hassle than it's worth some days.
It is. It definitely, you're definitely right about that.
So you want to talk about more advertising. Can you give me some more information on that? Like what kind of advertising, what kind of budgeting?
So we just believe if we had our name out there more, that it would drive more sales. I believe where our company is newer and not many people know who we are. I believe with advertising, it would help us lead to more sales. Um, we have a great sales completion ratio. So I believe getting advertising out there and starting it, making people realize, uh, so sorry. Sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, lay down. Um, Picking up where I left off. And I believe additional advertising promotional dollars would increase our sales leads. Um, a budget for that. I mean, I'm definitely open for recommendations on what you think we should budget for this project. But I do believe that this project would be necessary for us to increase our sales even more, even with adding more sales team members.
So I'm not against increasing sales budget, or sorry, advertising budgets, but I have a feeling that you're going to benefit more from the one-on-one, sending your sales staff out, talking to different companies and being a face, which is a lot of work. I know that. Um, but with the market the way it is right now and the downturn in the peso, that may be your best bet. I'm not sure, but again, if you can find ways to do marketing that's not incredibly expensive, like maybe not commercials on television, but um, advertising at bus stops or something, then that's not a terrible opportunity. So since we're talking about sales staff, I want to talk also about the way the sales staff specifically are being paid. And I'm a little concerned that because all the sales staff are receiving the same commission, which is a 5% commission, that it decreases the motivation to be a strong seller. And by the numbers, we can tell that you have 2 strong sellers and 3 not quite as good. And that don't seem to be doing as much. So can you maybe talk to me a little bit about your the sales staff that you have now, and have you given consideration to trying to find ways to reward your highest sellers?
So yes, we have thought about that, but the way we see it is that we work on many cells together as a team. So it's just not one person doing that cell. So during those sales and negotiations with customers and stuff, not only one person is working on that cell. So it's going to be multiple people. So we believe if we did go to a non-traditional way of commission that is not used to being in Mexico, we believe that would affect the company poorly and would possibly lead to more turnover within our sales team.
So you feel very strongly that all of your sales people, including the presumably the three new ones, your brother, the receptionist, and somebody coming over from training, want to keep their commissions equally divided the way they are now, and that they don't no none of them want to see bonuses given out based on sales numbers.
So another problem we have with commission is our commission at our company is solely on revenue generated as opposed to number of units sold. So our commissions are automatically reduced, and when we discount the discs to sell them below price, the commission just doesn't add up right, and it makes it very hard to change the structure of commission.
So the reason for doing this based on revenue rather than number of discs sold is to try to prevent too many of the discs being sold, you know, at deep discounts.
Yeah.
Which helps in the long run, helps both businesses. And I think we're going to want to keep that the same no matter what. But we can talk about discounts.
Okay. Okay, so you would be willing to talk about discounts. Could we receive an additional 10% in commission for sales generated above last year's volume? Do you believe
Um,
that would be possible?
well, now we're getting into we're getting out of that sales based on.
Oh, so sorry. I had these run together. Apologize. You're right.
I think it's best for the structure of our companies in this joint venture if we stick with the idea of the commission being based on the income that is generated rather than the number of discs that are sold. Because it gives you a bit of leeway in making some decisions in terms of what kind of discounts you're willing to do, to allow in terms of sales of the discs themselves. But again, it prevents you from wanting to make deep discounts because then the money is just not there. It's not making its way back to Mexico in the form of that commission. Right now, you are allowed to have a discount. So the way everything is set up, you can discount up to 10% of your list price. If you would like to try to change that, maybe say to 15%, I can authorize that. I can go back to my boss with that. But I really would not feel comfortable with trying to change the commission structure in terms of having it be sold based on volume rather than income generated.
Okay. Is it possible we could do an extra 10% until the peso returns to normal levels? Could we do it for just right now, and then once the peso returns to normal levels, we can go back to the original?
Well, I mean, I don't know that we could because we don't have a strong, I mean, we have no control over the market. And how would you define normal levels?
Well, obviously the peso took a so the way we are looking at it is the peso for sorry, I'm trying to wasn't prepared for